Today, we will talk about 10 movies that will get a sequel in 2023. 2023 is slowly becoming perhaps the better and more profitable time for movie sequels. As a matter of fact, a large portion of the movie being released in 2023 is sequels. While we don't have high hopes for some of the sequels coming out this year, sorry The Expendables 4, there are sequels we are really excited about. And in today's Top On Zero video, that is exactly what we will be highlighting. John Wick. Unlike some sequels, the John Wick series just keeps getting better and better, with the last one proving perhaps the best of the bunch. It also grossed more than its two predecessors put together, so there is no surprise that the creators want to keep striking the iron while it is hot. According to the synopsis of the 4th edition, John Wick discovers a path to defeating the High Table, but before that, he must fight off a new villain with powerful alliances across the world. The plot is without a doubt intriguing, and we are keen to see how it unravels. Given Wick was betrayed at the conclusion of the 3rd edition by Winston, we hope this new Wick enemy will appear in the sequel and are keen to see what happens next. Attack the Block. Although the announcement of this sequel caught some of us by surprise, it is nevertheless great to see. One of the reasons the Attack the Block sequel was unforeseen is because the first movie didn't exactly break the records when it comes to the box office. However, it did present an exciting twist on a typical alien invasion movie, coupled with well-rounded characters and crazy humor. With the star John Boyega and the writer-direct Joe Cornish set to reunite again for the sequel, there is a good chance that Attack the Block 2 will be as good or even better than the first edition. And we can't wait for it. A Simple Favor. Released in 2018, A Simple Favor was among the mega hits of that year, coming out of nowhere. Movie earned a strong 84% rating on the review aggregation site Rotten Tomatoes, with movie critics being especially pleased by its style, strong character performances, and remarkable plot twists. It also performed delightfully at the box office, and so it is no surprise that we will be getting a sequel in 2023. It is hard to imagine the plot of the sequel, with the first movie having worked as a tight, compelling standalone story. But that is why we are so excited about the sequel. The Meg. Grossing more than $500 million worldwide from a budget of $130 million, it is safe to say that The Meg was one of the big hitters of 2018. And with figures like that, it is no surprise that a sequel is in the works. Although it has been almost 5 years since the first movie was released, we are nevertheless excited about the 2nd edition, with the starman Jason Statham returning to batter more monster sharks in the sequel that is slated for August this year. And while the plot of the movie is yet to be publicly shared, the book version revealed a few more giant creatures for our protagonists to deal with throughout the movie timeline. The Accountant? The Accountant sequel was first announced in the summer of 2017, but nothing concrete has happened since then. The reason for the very little movement may be attributed to the fact that the first edition was not exactly a big hitter at the box office, especially for a production company like Warner Bros. Nevertheless, with a good chance of outperforming the first movie at the box office and wide-ranging storytelling options to explore, The Accountant sequel is positioned to be one of the biggest monster hitters of 2023. Insidious. We have to admit, the Insidious series is among the most relentless, despite the last 2 editions failing to convince the audiences and critics. But since these movies don't use large budgets, yet can easily generate more than $100 million at the box office, we have a feeling Blumhouse will continue producing them as long as they wish. The 5th edition was slated for July 2023, and unlike the last 2 chapters, the 5th edition will continue the Lambert story, therefore serving as a direct sequel to 2013's 2nd chapter. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Although the last edition of the Indiana Jones movie failed to vibe the critics, this seems not to deter the franchise, as they have slated the 5th edition for June 30th, 2023. The plotline is also not publicly shared, but what we know is that Harrison Ford will be putting on his iconic fedora for the last time for this sequel. Moreover, Steven Spielberg has also stepped down from the director's role and passed the torch on to James Mangold. We are not sure what our hero's latest adventure will be All we have to do is wait for all this to be revealed when the film lands in the theaters this summer. Mission Impossible. Titled Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Part 1. This sequel will be the first installment of a two-part adventure for our hero Ethan Hunt, with Part 2 planned for the summer of 2024. As it is expected, Tom Cruise will return to his legendary role as the INF agent, but he will also be joined by a number of familiar faces from the previous films, including INF tech wizards Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, and Ving Rhames. The Old Guard, a rare Netflix original hit. 2020's The Old Guard was one of the biggest movies that year. A well-written action thriller based on eponymous comic book series. The plot of the original movie follows a group of immortal soldiers seeking revenge after their ally turned against them. It got rave reviews and was one of Netflix's best movies of 2020, and now the sequel is in the works. Seemingly, the plot of the sequel will loosely be based on The Old Guard, Force Multiplied, the sequel to the first comic book, The Old Guard. And that is the case. Movie lovers should expect the sequel to be more action-packed than the first movie, with new big characters entering the fray. The Equalizer. With the first two movies racking up a remarkable box office haul of a combined $382 million against the production cost of $117 million, continuing the series seems like an easy decision. Starring fan favorite Denzel Washington as an ex-Marine and dangerous Robert McCall, the series is based on the TV series of the same name from the 1980s. The first installment of Equalizer came out in September 2014, and the second movie in July 2018. According to Sony, the third film will hit the theaters in September 2023, and we can't wait to see it, especially with Washington giving a glimpse of what to expect in Equalizer 3 in his recent interview. Quote unquote, "I gotta get in shape and start beating people up again. I need to beat people up again. Can't get any better, right?" Which sequel movie are you most looking forward to this year? What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.